Okay, so we're doing another deep dive today.
Right.
And this one is really interesting. It's happening right now. It's about River State in Nigeria.
Okay.
And, you know, I was saying before we started recording that I've been seeing a lot about this in the news lately.
Yeah, this is something I've been following pretty closely.
Yeah, so this is about a power struggle, basically.
Okay.
Between two pretty important people in River State.
Right.
The first is the former governor, Nyesom Wike.
Right.
And then the second is Simi Fubara, who is the current governor.
Okay.
And we thought that Fubara was like Wike's protege, you know?
Yeah, like his chosen successor, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
But things are getting kind of messy.
Yeah, they really are.
It seems like maybe Fubara isn't as loyal as everyone thought he was.
You know what's interesting about this is that on the surface, this really did look like a smooth transition.
Right.
You know, handover of power from one to the other. But it turns out there's this Supreme Court ruling against Fubara.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's kind of hanging over everything.
Wow.
Like a big question mark.
So is that why some people are trying to remove Fubara?
I think that's part of it.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's not just anyone.
Yeah.
It's some of Wike's most loyal allies that are pushing for his removal.
Oh, wow. So Wike's own people are going after his supposed protege.
Exactly.
That doesn't sound good for Fubara.
No, it doesn't. And honestly, communities are on edge about all of this.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They're really worried about potential unrest and instability if things escalate.
So Fubara is popular with the people.
It seems that way.
Okay, so this all just makes it even more confusing.
Right?
Like, if Wike was so powerful
Yeah.
and was able to get his chosen successor into office, why are things falling apart like this?
Exactly. Like, what is Wike's game here? What is he trying to do?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
I think it's the question everyone's asking right now.
Well, luckily we've got this article to help us try to figure this out.
Okay, good.
It's called Rivers State Power Rift. Wike versus Fubara.
Catchy.
Right. And it really lays out the whole saga.
Yeah.
And the more you read, the weirder it gets.
Really?
Yeah, like, okay, so Wike has his hands in, like, everything.
What do you mean?
Like the police, the electoral commission, even the ruling party itself.
Wow. So he really is powerful.
Yeah, and you'd think he'd be pretty happy with his chosen successor.
Right. You'd think he'd just let Fubara do his thing.
Exactly. But that's not what's happening at all.
Clearly something's not adding up.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it really is ironic. He builds up all this influence,
Right.
all this power, and then he seems to be undermining the very person he put in place.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah.
And then the article lists all these major things Wike did as governor.
Okay, like what?
Well, so one thing is granting more autonomy to the local government areas.
LGAs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Which basically gave them more control over their own affairs.
Right.
And then he pushed for elected officials instead of appointed committees.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he established the Rivers State Electoral Commission.
A RISEC.
Yeah, RISEC, exactly. So you can see how he was methodically building his power base.
Yeah, it really does read like a blueprint for control.
Right.
Like he was anticipating a situation exactly like this and put all the pieces in place beforehand.
And so then the article asks this huge question.
Okay.
If Wike has all the power and all the support and the ability to like manipulate election, then why is he stalling the LGA elections?
That is the $1 million question.
Right.
Like, is this a power play?
Maybe.
Is he just testing Fubara's loyalty?
It's possible.
Or is there some deeper political strategy unfolding that we're just not seeing?
And the article makes another good point.
What's that?
That we can't just ignore the potential fallout of all this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like there are real fears of unrest and instability in River State.
And that would be bad for everyone. This isn't just some political chess match.
Right.
You know, there are real people's lives at stake.
This is serious stuff.
Yeah, this situation really highlights how delicate power dynamics can be, especially during transitions. Like even when you have someone who seems totally loyal taking over, there's always the potential for friction and unintended consequences.
And it sounds like that Supreme Court ruling against Fubara is just making things worse.
Oh yeah, for sure. It weakens his position.
Right.
And gives Wike even more leverage to exert his influence.
So it really all just circles back to that same question.
About Wike.
Yeah, what does he want?
Well, this deep dive has given us a pretty fascinating look into the intricate dance of power and ambition.
Yeah, it really has.
And it reminds us that even when someone seems like they have it all, there might be more to the story than we realize.
True.
What happens next in River State?
Yeah.
And how Wike decides to use his influence is something we'll all be watching closely.
Definitely, this is far from over.
It's just getting started.
Well, this has been fascinating.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to dive into this.
Me too. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, I'm sure there are more twists and turns to come.
Well, thanks for joining me for another deep dive.
Anytime.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Trendsetters and Politicos. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed our trending and political analysis, be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more insightful conversations and expert opinions. Follow us on social media to stay updated on the latest trends and political news. Your likes, shares, and reviews are greatly appreciated as they help us grow and bring you more quality content. Don't miss out on our next episode, where we'll dive into hot topic. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep it locked to Trendsetters and Politicos.